So I think a major problem with the internet these days is that a lot of people find a word or a term and read it in a certain context and think that they know what that term means and go on to use it in all the wrong contexts. So that's something that has happened with the term manic pixie dream girl. A lot of people, especially on the Indian side of the internet, are interpreting it as any bubbly female character. So anyone who's excited, anyone who's weird or fun or just chirpy and has the man's attention in the film. But that is not true. The manic pixie dream girl is an inherently sexist trope, and characters that are actually fully formed and good representations of women are wrongly being termed as manic pixie dream girls. So, before we get ahead, what is a manic pixie dream girl? The term manic pixie dream girl was first coined by the film critic Nathan Rabin in 2007, where he mentioned this trope in terms of the film Elizabethtown. Elizabethtown is a perfect example of what a manic pixie dream girl is, and Nathan goes on to explain it in this article. Basically, according to him, and because he has coined the term, so he must be right, a manic pixie dream girl is a character, a female character, who exists only to fulfill the male protagonist's needs in a certain way, which is to get him out of a bad situation by being herself, by being chirpy, being cheerful, get him out of his depression by showing him her world in a quirky manner. And usually that world is very surface level, like, oh, look at this music, or oh, let's go do something quirky, like jump into a lake, maybe like in Jab We Met, but we'll come back to that later. And it's completely surface level. She doesn't have anything on the inside, and even if she does, that part of the character is never explored. And when the manic pixie dream girl's objective of helping the male protagonist grow is fulfilled, she disappears from the film. She's completely chucked out of the film. She doesn't serve a purpose anymore. So that is how he defined this trope. He also listed a few other examples of this trope. Now, over the years, in American culture, the term got a lot of new meanings, and Nathan Rabin later said that he feels bad that he coined this term because a lot of people started owning it and saying, oh, I'm a manic pixie dream girl, when they didn't entirely understand the sexist connotations behind that term, which is saying that women are being written for men. Women are not being written as complete human beings. Now, when this term was discovered by the Indian internet, somehow, among a few relatively accurate examples of the manic pixie dream girl, Geet from Jab We Met kept appearing. As, oh, she's a bubbly character, she's all excited, she exists only to help Aditya, that is Shahid Kapoor in Jab We Met, grow, and that's why she's a manic pixie dream girl, and haha, we don't want to be like her because that's negative, that's a sexist trope. And the worst part is that even some social media handles and some channels that I respected were taking it to be the same way. They were all defining it as just a character who doesn't have anything to her, and I didn't understand this. I felt like these people have not watched the film. So let's try and understand why Geet from Jab We Met is not a manic pixie dream girl. What other female characters in Indian films are actually surface level that could be rectified going further, and basically try and understand that we need to look into these terms before we just jump into using them. So the thing about Geet is, yes, when you start at the beginning of the film, if you're just watching simply, you're not really thinking about it, it looks like, oh, she's this girl who's taking this Aditya character on a journey with herself, and oh, it's helping him grow and come out of his depression. But let's stand back a little and look at it more deeply. At the beginning of Jab We Met, Shahid Kapoor's character is trapped in his inner world. We don't want to belittle depression, but he is indulging in some sort of self-pity. He wants to run away from the world that he knows. He is cutting himself off from the external world. Now, out pops Geet right in the opposite seat, and she is the complete opposite of him in the sense that she is somewhere creating this internal world in her head which is stemming from her external. She is very involved in the external. She's open to talk to anyone. She's constantly talking about herself. She's her own favorite, and unlike Aditya, who has a lot of self-loathing, she has a lot of self-love. this annoying quality of her optimism and her worldview actually elicits a negative reaction from Aditya. Often, this is not the case with Manic Pixie Dream Girls. They are seen as, oh, someone that the male character just took in his stride and it happened that she helped him grow. But here, the first reaction to Geet is just annoyance. And the best thing about this is that until that point, Aditya was only feeling numbness. But it is Geet who manages to not only actually save his life from his suicidal tendencies at that point, but also making him angry, which is an emotion. He finally feels an emotion because of her. Now, yeah, you might think, oh, this sounds like a Manic Pixie Dream Girl. Why is she only doing things to him? But here's the thing. We actually follow her journey right from the start, because the moment she gets left behind on that station, we are worried about her, we are waiting for her to do something, we are following her journey, and she pushes Aditya into taking her home. As a result, Aditya is thrown into this journey back to Geet's house for no real reason, and on this journey he discovers other emotions like excitement, happiness, humiliation, all kinds of things that he could not experience while he was numb. The thing about Geet is she is living in a dream world which is in hypotheticals, and all her solutions to problems are more physical or in the external world, because she inhabits the external world. So that's why she tells him to burn that photo of his ex and all of that. All of the other solutions like jumping into a lake for external sensations. That's what she is good at. And the problem with her at this point in the story is that she has not let her internal world develop. She has not gone into introspection. And yes, that shows in this part. But that issue is also resolved later in the film. Now, of course, Aditya learns all of this from Geet and he goes back happy, having found the perfect manic pixie and having lost his depression and whatnot. But then Geet comes back into his life. He finds out that she is now going through the same thing that he was. There's a role reversal here. So now he helps Geet to get over all of her problems, to finally introspect. Now that he has embraced his external world and made peace with his internal world, he has the responsibility to explain to Geet that just because her dreams are destroyed or her internal world has finally come to her face to face, she does not have to give up. And he helps her bring that brightness back into her life by giving her the same things that she taught him once. So by the end of the film, both characters have developed to a point where they have accepted themselves, where they have learned from each other, they have grown, and they are still together by the end. Both characters are equally important to the film. No one character is just there for one purpose that they serve. Geet's family is an important character in the film, which is not a part of the Manic Pixie Dream Girl, who is supposed to just exist in this void, and her family and life is never really discussed. Aditya's family problems are discussed, and they are both in this balance. This balance comes through in the film, and that is why it is such a fulfilling film to watch as a woman or as a man, because it is about the love between equals. Now, it's not to say that Imtiaz Ali has always made films like this, or that his female characters are always this balanced. Of course, I'm talking about Rockstar. But if we have to talk about problematic tropes in Indian cinema, let's talk about the tropes that actually plague us. Like this one trope that I like to call Miss Dead Perfect. You know, like Shraddha Kapoor in Ek Villain, and that lady in Tufan whose name I can't currently recall and I'm too lazy to look at my phone. These are all characters who are perfect from the beginning, or just, you know, they share some qualities with the Manic Pixie Dream Girl. They are beautiful. I mean, beautiful is subjective, of course, but they are bright, they are intelligent, or sometimes maybe not intelligent, just excited or balanced. They have that balance that the male protagonist needs, and they help get the male protagonist who has fallen into a bad way or something of that sort. They help him get rooted again, or get a place in this world, or make a family or whatever. But then they are killed at a certain point, which helps make the story go forward. And without their death, the male protagonist wouldn't have gone on this journey that he then goes. So they are there just to come into his life, make a safe space, and then die. And this is not just a one-time thing. Think about it. There are a lot of women characters in Indian cinema who exist just to make the guy's life better and then die, and hence the guy's journey begins. I mean, these are the things we need to look at. We don't need to worry about a name or a tag or a trope that has been given to us from the West, because many a times Western tropes don't apply to us. Our country has other problems, our country has different nuances, our country has different stereotypes, and here we have to view things from our own lens and understand our own problems ourselves, because ultimately the basic problem is that we need to look at films in a nuanced manner and understand when a woman is a person as compared to when she is just a pillow for a man. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video, please do share it with your friends and hit the like button and leave a comment. Let me know what you think. What other characters can you think of who fall into any of these tropes? And I'll see you next time. Oh, also please subscribe. If you're here for the first time, please subscribe. I'll come back with more content, I promise. Thank you and bye. See you next time.